Good day to everyone. We are the last group and we will tackle the last lesson of understanding the self, which is the political self. Now, the objectives. After this lesson, we are expecting to first, learn the interaction between politics and oneself. Next, understand the meaning and manifestations of political ideologies and partisanship. Third, understand civility and incivility in online political discourse. And lastly, raise political awareness. First and foremost, what is politics? Politics came from the ancient Greek word politikos and politikas, which means affairs of the cities, derived from the name of Aristotle's book Politica written around 350 BC. It is the ability to govern and control a group of people in a community, like states or nation. Ito rin yung mga paggamit ng kapangyarihan at authority sa iba para gumawa ng rules and law para i-manage yung resources. There are several types of political systems in different nations. For example po dito yung sa Philippines. We have a democratic type, which means that the nation is led by a president, na directly elected by the people and serve as both the head of the state and the head of government. As it says in the PowerPoint, politics is used by people for running a disciplined, peaceful, and developing life. Yet the nation that politics is solely and mainly about distribution has been challenged for over the past decades. Especially itong politics sa bansa natin, na recently is being criticized for being corrupt, patronage-based, and lacking ideological grounding. The possible reasons for it is the corrupt politicians, political dynasties, and yung mga taong tumatakbo na wala namang totoong alam sa responsibilidad ng politika sa isang bansa. Ngayon naman, alamin natin yung tinatawag na political self. Political self, ito yung variation ng sarili natin as how we view and support the politics or the government. Politicians has an ability to use power and authority to manage a nation or state. Here in the Philippines, may mga sinasabi dito sa atin na bakit lahat sa'yo politika, which is dapat naman talaga. Dahil ang mga nasa politiko ang nagpapatakbo ng lahat ng bagay sa ating bansa. Lahat ng actions and decisions nila ay tayong mga mamamayan ang nakakatanggap ng resulta para sa ating kapakanan ngayon at para sa ating kinabukasan. Kaya importante na may alam at makialam tayo sa usaping ito. Importanteng alam natin kung sino yung mga niluluklok natin sa pwesto dahil nasa kamay nila ang magiging takbo ng ating bansa. That's why it is very ironic for some people to say that they don't care about politics dahil ang kapakanan ng ating bansa ay nasa kamay nila and it's our privilege as an individual. So if you have rights, use them. Have a care, vote, speak up, and be educated. Our political self or our political view can develop in many ways. First, on our family. Our family as it derives from their role as a primary source of all the basic needs of a person. Next is school, as it helps through teaching morally upright citizens and emphasizes one's respective roles in the society. Political facts are also learned through various classroom discussions and courses. Next is media, like TV news reports, newspaper reports, and internet, as it helps people to have knowledge in what's happening to our government. Big example dito is yung naging recent episode ng Kapuso Mo Jessica Soho about the flood control projects in our country and who's behind those ghost projects. Through that episode, maraming taong nagkaroon ng kaalaman sa mga nangyayaring panloloko ng mga politician sa ating lugar at bansa. Also, the growth of internet is also a significant source of development of political self. Through documentations and archives of the history in our country's political system. And lastly, socialization. People learn the status, duties, rights, and power necessary to interact successfully with other people in the group of communities. As individuals meet new people, the political self is influenced and modified by opinions, comments, and suggestions of the people.
Good day, everyone. Today I'm going to explain what political ideology means. based on Haywood's definition from 2019. A political ideology is basically a collection of ideas or beliefs that guide how people act in politics. These ideas help us decide whether we want to preserve the current system, change parts of it, or completely replace it. In other words, an ideology shapes how we understand power, society, and political action. According to Haywood, all political ideologies have three important rules. First, they describe the existing order. This means that an ideology provides a worldview, a way of understanding how society currently works and how power is organized. Second, they present a vision of a desired future. Ideologies describe what they think the good society should look like. It's their model of a better world. And third, they explain how political change should happen. This part outlines the steps, strategies, or actions needed to achieve that desired future. So, in simple terms, a political ideology tells us what the world looks like now, what we want it to look like in the future, and how we can get there.
The left and right divide of political spectrum. It is a shorthand method used to describe political ideas and beliefs. It is a summarization of the ideological positions of both politicians, political parties, and political movements. This includes the political ideologies like communist, liberal, moderate, conservative, and other more. Take note that there are other political ideologies out there aside from the things that I've mentioned. In countries like the United States and the Philippines, political ideology is largely divided between conservatism, or being conservative, and liberalism. Generally speaking, the political spectrum ranges from liberals, who are known to support more progressive policies, while on the other hand, we have conservatives, who prefer small governmental influence on their lives. Now, let's see the difference between liberalism and conservatives in terms of these issues that I've listed. We have here marriage, abortion, separation of the church and the state, and divorce. Now, if we will talk about marriage, liberals generally view marriage as a union between two individuals who love each other regardless of gender. Conservatives, on the other hand, uphold the traditional view that marriage should be exclusively between a man and a woman. See the difference? Regarding abortion, liberals emphasizes a woman's right to choose, asserting that decisions about pregnancy fall under bodily autonomy. Conservatives, on the other hand, argue that an unborn child possesses its own right, separate from those of the mother, and that these rights must be protected. See the difference? Now, in terms of the separation of church and state, liberals support a clear boundary, asserting that religious institutions should not influence government affairs and that the state should operate independently of religious doctrine. Conservatives believe that the church can play a vital role in guiding the state, ensuring that the laws and policies reflect religious and moral values. Now, regarding divorce, liberals argue that married individuals should have the opportunity to start over if a marriage fails, stating that it is unjust to keep people in relationships that no longer work. Conservatives, however, hold that marriage is a sacred and lifelong commitment, one that should not be dissolved easily. This just shows how liberals and conservative hold distinct and often contrasting views on major issues, such as marriage, abortion, and other more. Understanding these differences is essential in recognizing how each ideology shapes the public policy.
First of all, what is partisanship? Partisanship is when a person supports one political group very strongly, almost like cheering for their favorite team. That's what partisanship is. Moving on to political partisanship. Political partisanship refers to strong support of people when it comes to political groups or parties. Every political party has its own ideas on how to lead and help the people in their country. When someone shows political partisanship, it means they always take the side of their chosen party and believe that their party is always right. Giving an example, imagine political partisanship like two school teams competing. Since it's a school competition, you'll support your team's school, which means you will cheer for them loud and proud, completely ignoring yung mga sinasabi ng another team. Masasabi rin natin na ang political partisanship ay isang bias na gawain ng isang tao when it comes to politics. Kahit na ano pa ang sabihin ng ibang tao ay hindi makikinig ang isang tao na nakapili na ng kanyang partido. For example, those supporters ni former President Duterte, they stand with their choices even after all the bashing, all the arguments about their president. When people support someone kasi with full commitment, it is hard to persuade them to change their point of view and to look for others' perspective. Sorry for mentioning someone's president po. Anyways, kaya maraming tao ang nagtatalo sa ganito ngayon dahil nga po sa mga issue na iba't iba po ang perspective ng bawat isa. At syempre, kapag po may partido tayo na sinusuportahan, yun po yung parang laging tama sa atin. C.S. Lewis, a famous writer, warned that people tend to form small groups where everyone thinks alike. Sabi niya, nagsistay lang ang isang tao kapag pareho sila ng opinion at pareho na nagsistop na makinig sa mga arguments. Instead, nakikinig lang sila sa mga rumors or exaggerated stories about the people outside their group. Nagka-create po ito ng misunderstanding, anger, and hostility. When this happens to politics po, each group po ay magsistop na intindihin ang bawat partido and only focuses on proving other group wrong. So to make it short and clear, once again, political partisanship po ay solid na suporta sa isang partido na gustong-gusto ninyo na manalo kahit ano pa ang mangyari. Gusto nila na laging tama ang kanilang napili na partido.
Now, let's move to the social media wars, civility, and incivility of political discourse online. So, what do you guys think civility and incivility? It says here that it's been described as the most valuable on the social virtues. Especially sa politics and public discourse, isa to sa mga mahalagang practice ng respectful na pakikipag-communicate. Mas lalo siyang nakaka-help na makapag-build ng positive environment sa social media. Also, being civil on any social media platforms can help to avoid cyberbullying and it helps to be more interactive to others. Civility in politics means engaging in public discourse with politeness, respect, and a focus on the common good, while refraining from personal attacks and aggression. So, bakit nga ba sa tingin nyo importante ang pagiging civil? Siyempre, dahil kapag marunong tayo makipag-communicate ng tama at mas may respeto, magkakaroon tayo ng mas maayos na community where everyone are respectful and considerate to other people around them. I have here the characteristic of being a civil person. The first one is a respectful behavior. As what I've said earlier, having a respectful behavior helps to build trust dahil dito mas madali nilang masasabi yung mga opinion nila about something. Siyempre, hindi lang rin trust ang nabibuild dito. It also improves their communication, their relationship, and it also reduces the conflict and arguments. The next one is the public-mindedness. Ibig sabihin naman nito is that you act with the community, society, or with the general public mind. Dahil naman sa characteristic na to, mas na-encourage yung every individual na tingnan ang and also to make decisions that still consider how it will affect everyone, hindi lang yung sa sarili nila. The next one is open-mindedness. Importante rin ang pagiging open-minded natin para maalis yung mga toxic behavior natin. And it also helps to create a genuine democratic dialogue online. This helps naman na ma-prioritize natin yung truth and respect over other. The next one is the non-aggressive communication. In our current days, mas nauuna sa atin yung mapakita natin yung mga emotion, yung galit natin, pero being non-aggressive is one of the important characteristic of being civil. Because it is the key to make our online interaction productive. Also, by maintaining a calm tone, mas nakakapag-build siya ng safe space kung saan mas makakapag-share sila ng kani-kanilang opinion nang walang iniisip na takot o na baka maharas sila. Also, this characteristic shows maturity. While the incivility naman is completely different from being civil because it is described by the lack of respect and harboring animosity towards individuals whose views are constructing. One of their characteristics naman ay yung sa kanilang verbal behaviors. Being incivil is often seen in this behavior. They are deliberately rude, hostile, and dismissive. Kasama na rin dito yung paggamit ng sarcasm to ridicule legitimate political arguments. Next one is yung kanilang non-verbal behaviors. Ito naman yung behavior na pag-roll ng eyes kapag may mga politician na nagsasalita, pati na rin yung mga aggressive body postures during the interviews and debates. Next is yung personal attacks. In this characteristic naman, it involves insulting the person's character, intelligence, and motives instead of engaging with their facts and logic. Their purpose of doing this is to humiliate and guarantee a toxic interaction. Next one is yung demonizing opponents. It's one of the most highly uncivil act na nagagawa through framing and threatening their opponents. Their purpose is to justify the aggressive attack and to eliminate all the possibilities to compromise.
I will be explaining the findings of Libet and Peacock's 2014 research on online political discussion and why incivility often happens on the internet. First, online venues give people opportunities to participate in civic discourse. The internet provides spaces like forums, blogs, comment sections, and social media where people can share their thoughts about politics and public issues. Just like face-to-face conversations, these online platforms help people learn about important issues and become more willing to participate in politics. Second, people join online discussions for different reasons. Some users want to express their opinions or spread information. Second, people join online discussion for different reasons. Some users want to express their opinions or spread information. Others join because they enjoy hearing different perspectives or connecting with a community. In many cases, people simply want a place where they can be heard and understood. Third, online political discussions can often become uncivil and move away from respectful debate. Unlike face-to-face conversations, online interactions lack tone of voice, facial expression, and body language. Because of this, misunderstandings happen more easily, and people become less open to other viewpoints. Studies show that people are less likely to change their attitudes during online debates, making discussions more heated and dismissive. Finally, anonymity can lead to incivility and anti-deliberative behavior. In real-life conversations, many social cues guide how we behave, like clothing, facial expression, tone, gender, and context. Online, especially when people are anonymous, these cues disappear. This reduces accountability and makes people more likely to be rude or aggressive. Because of this, online discussion often become more hostile than face-to-face ones. In summary, online platforms create great opportunities for civic engagement, but they also come with challenges. People can share their ideas more freely, but anonymity and lack of social cues can also lead to misunderstanding and instability in political discussions.
So now, ang pag-uusapan naman natin is, bakit importante ang pagiging political aware? Or in English, why political awareness is important. Okay guys, let's be real. Bakit pa sobrang importante ng political awareness? Alam nyo kung bakit? Kasi nga, everything around us, as in lahat, connected sa politics. Impression ng mga makeup, pamasahe, school facilities, and even traffic. Lahat ng mga bagay na yon is nagmula yun sa mga decisions ng mga nakaupo sa gobyerno. Basically, political awareness is pagiging aware from the word itself. Political awareness means aware ka. Hindi ka lang basta-basta nag-score kung saan, kundi nakikinig ka rin. And alam mo kung ano yung mga nangyayari sa ating kapaligiran. Yes. Halimbawa, kapag nakikinig ka ng balita or nag-observe ka sa social media. And dahil aware ka, hindi ka lang basta-basta lilin lang ng mga fake news na nababasa mo through online. So, alam niyo ba, kapag politically aware kayo, para kayo nag-level up kasi you make good choices, good decisions, alam niyo kung sino yung mga dapat bang suportahan, ano yung mga issues na worth to fight for, and alam niyo rin kung paano niyo matutulungan yung mga tao sa inyong kapaligiran. Parang kung nagkaroon ng superpower na pumili, magsalita, at kumilos. Imagine guys, just by staying informed, you're already making a difference. So ayun, political awareness isn't boring. It's about you taking control and making smarter moves. And take note that lahat tayo ay dapat mulat when it comes to politics para alam natin kung sino ang ating dapat iboto, hindi ang mga korap.
Now, let's move to the last part, which is the tips on the developing political awareness in your organization. According to Espiritu et al. 2018, these are the ways to promote political awareness within the organization. First is, you need to be guided by what is important. This tip has a tricky ideas. First is the alignment of your goal and priorities. This will help you to focus your energy on what really matters to you and your employer. The first thing you need to do is you need to know or identify your organization's top 3 goals and your top 3 career priorities. After that, you need to check if your daily activities or what you spend most time doing or stressing about do not align with your organizational goals or to your personal career priorities. It indicates, or more likely, you're just using your energy to help someone else achieve their goals. The second step after the alignment is to focus on the strategic visibility. Once your goals are aligned, do this by actively communicating your achievements to the key decision makers. And the last one is that you need to understand that exposure and image are important because it translates your hard work to recognized value. Translating your hard work means that you show your effort, your time, and your dedication. The next one is you need to build a network. Successful politics revolved around communication and networking. It means that you must build and maintain a good and broad network of allies, even it's above, at, or below your level, as well as outside your organization. This networking is also a long-term investment that even though it takes a very long time to succeed, but once you build it, it's worth it. And lastly, you must actively seek ways to professionally engage and establish respect with stakeholders with whom you have a history of work collaboration. The third one is you need to watch and learn. This step involves the process of identifying first who holds a formal power versus on the one who wields informal authority and influence. By just watching the people who gets promoted and who is being ignored, and the specific likes and dislikes of leaders, you'll know the true organizational culture. This understanding is vital for identifying potential allies and determining what behaviors and communication styles are valued. The fourth one is you need to handle the gossip tactfully. In every organization, you will always encounter gossip, but you must be careful to not be engaged in the gossip. Even when you need to network actively, this is a very crucial strategy for never criticize a third party to appear. Instead, if someone shows their frustration about the other person, you should acknowledge and validate their feelings. Example of this when you say to them that you understand why they are frustrated. This approach helps to maintain professional integrity and also protects your reputation while showing empathy to your network. The last one is you need to promote yourself tactfully. To promote yourself, you should demonstrate your success through action rather than merely announcing it. The key is to offer to repeat a successful outcome for another department or client, allowing them to know your capability through your actions. When speaking about achievements, always use the inclusive pronoun we instead of me to maintain the team loyalty while still receiving the recognition. These are the tips on how to improve your political awareness in your organization. So that's it for the report group 8. Thank you for listening.